Gotta check out that rooftop box.
So last time, I was just doing some collectibles. So right now I'm on the Avengers Tower. If you want to go and see, look, the Avengies. Yeah, Avengies! Not a big Avengers fan. Spidey's kind of like that. All I need for the Marvel universe.
Not long ago,
like I don't mind Captain America or Winter Soldier or similar heroes in that vein, but I do not care for like Iron Man or even Thor. Like I don't care about the others. I have a thing like, with superheroes that are like way too powerful, right? Like I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, but like not anyone can beat them, but like
Damn bomb in the truck.
Goku doesn't win all the time, and it's to me that's just interesting. Where it's like, yeah, Thor doesn't win all the time, but it just feels like out of everyone, he's not fair. I never was interested by Thor. And then when it like comes to the X-Men, like Wolverine's cool, I guess. Like I like him, he's fine. But it's again that like unkillable machine where it's like, I know he's gonna win at the end of the day, and it's
These demons
just
must have crazy insurance premiums.
It comes off a little boring every issue. He's just gonna Wolverine about. What should we do? Should we? Let's do this side quest. We'll get to the main objectives soon.
1034. Officers are engaged with armed hostiles. Backup needed. Report came in from Lenox Hill.
So, I might go and rewatch the whole cinematic universe, like the whole Marvel cinematic universe.
Nailed it.
Because,
Masked up piece.
from what I remember, the Marvel movies don't do that great after a second viewing.
Doing a little nighttime bird watching?
Well, I was watching for nocturnal raptors in the park when I noticed a bunch of men armed with rifles over at Belvedere Castle.
Thanks for the heads up, Miss,
Stephanie, let me know if I can help. I'll keep an eye on the activities from up here.
Thanks for the assist, Stephanie. Why would armed men be at Belvedere Castle? Got a hunch they're not tourists.
This is a thing that kind of bothers me in games like these. Whereas, like, these side quests have no real merit. Right? It doesn't move forward the plot at all. Or, like, that's where, like, the main quest will come from, but, like, you're not getting too much info,
This isn't good.
You know? And to me, that's a little sad because it's like, you want to know more lore about these characters or about these villains and what's going on, but like, why should you care? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, you know about Spider-Man and like, but do you know anything about Tombstone? No. So like, unless you have like prior comic book knowledge on Tombstone, and I don't really. I haven't read any fucking comic with Tombstone in it. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know where he first was introduced or what have you. Like, I just wouldn't know, you know? Like, I know the Shocker, I know Vulture, like the big guys, right? Like the Sinister Six and all of them. but
That's all of them.
does it?
Let's find out what they were up to.
Like, do you know anything about Tombstone? You're right. Like, do you know anything about
Not sure what's going on
Hammerhead?
here.
Like
If there's any
Hammerhead, I
info
know
I
is
can
like a
get from
mob,
flash
a mobber,
drive.
like a mobster.
Stephanie, a
Mobber.
bird just stole a flash drive full of evidence. Maybe a
Mobber.
pigeon.
That's
Is that normal?
stupid.
It is nesting season, so I'm not
But
surprised.
yeah, like
I think
King,
the nest is
Hammerhead's a
southeast of the
mobster,
castle.
right?
Great.
And then you got
Check it out.
Kingpin,
We got
who's
buddies.
oh shit.
Come back with that flash drive,
What-
you dirty
what?
sky rats!
Fuck. All right. I guess I'll do that again.
Stephanie, a bird just stole a flash drive full of evidence. Maybe a pigeon. Is that normal?
It is nesting season, so I'm not surprised.
Where did they go?
The nest in the trees just southeast of the castle.
Great, I'll check it out.
But yeah, like
You got buddies. Great. Come
I
back
think-
with that flash drive, you dirty sky rats!
Try positive reinforcement. You know, pigeons are actually
I
remarkably
think
intelligent.
Daredevil did it well,
intelligent,
like
huh?
the show, the Netflix show.
Hey, pigeons! Sorry about the
Why
dirty
should you
sky
care
rats
about
thing.
Kingpin?
Maybe we can
Or
make a
like,
deal?
he's like Kingpin's not even a sympathetic villain.
I'll double it.
Right? Kingpin
He doesn't have the
is
drive.
definitely like you could understand like he cares about his city, like he loves New York, but he's just a fucking evil dude. But like, at least you understand him. You don't need to be sympathetic to be a good villain. You know, you could just be an asshole.
I've got the drive. Back to the
But,
laptop to see what Fisk's men like.
You need to get their motives across. They need to have a character. They can't just be evil for evil's sake. But sometimes they can, as long as they're really well written. Like Dio from JoJo. He's evil, and he knows he's evil.
Looks
And
like
he
they were
loves
uploading a
every
worm
bit
to
of
the
it.
central park
Or like
Wi-Fi
Frieza from
Could give them
Dragon Ball.
backdoor access
He's
to a
evil
ton
as
of
shit
personal
too.
data. Come to
And he
think of
doesn't
it,
give a
even I
fuck.
use
But
this
you know,
network.
that's his character. He loves the fact that he's evil.
Still uploading remotely. There must be multiple access points.
Oh,
Stephanie,
where
you're my
did I
eyes
go?
in the sky. See anything
Where
else
do I
strange in the
go?
park?
I see a pair of foreign
Okay, now I know where to go.
Oh, more guys at a nearby junction box.
Thanks. Keep a lookout
yeah,
for
like-
anything else. I need to get to that junction box before
When
the
you
upload
have
completes.
Tombstone, like
They
what
can't
is your
access the
modus
laptop, They
operandi?
can't upload.
Right? Like,
Great, there you are.
you just a bad guy.
Back down here. Nothing over here.
Because if you're just a bad guy, then okay, shit. Like,
Never touches the ground.
why should I care about you? You know, like, and I don't like how George R.R. Martin uses his villains,
Want your head.
even though he goes like, no one's really a villain, and no one's really a hero, blah 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 blah. You got your heroes and villains in your story, so like, you can stop sniffing your own farts.
Thanks for the heads up. I better get moving. 2 more? I
But
never thought I'd say this. Why does Central Park need such strong Wi-Fi
when he
coverage?
writes like
I
an
thought people came here to
antagonist
get
or
away.
whatever, they go through some fucking vile shit, and you're like, what the hell?
There they are.
Like,
Need to
yeah,
keep
there's
them away
some
from the
character
park.
development here and there, but like, are they just set in their ways of evil? Like, I don't think I'm going to talk about Game of Thrones though, because I've only seen season 1 and 8. So, like, I have no basis. Like, I saw the beginning and I saw the end, and I was like, it's not bad.
Only one more to go.
And like, nothing in between. So I didn't get the hatred that everyone else got, you know. But I think a good example of a shitty villain is like Kylo Ren. Like, they try to make him a sympathetic villain. They try to make him like a different style, like of Darth Vader. But it just falls flat. Like, I'm not saying Adam Driver is a bad actor. He fucking carries that whole damn movie series. But the sequel trilogy is no bueno. Like, it's not well written. The characters make no real
People of
sense.
Manhattan can rest easy knowing that
And
their
I
passwords
believe
and
that's
chat
not
videos
just
are
a
safe.
Ryan Johnson issue. I think that's a JJ issue, and I think that's a Kathleen Kennedy
Are
issue,
you sure?
where they just simply
Lock the roof entrance and hold
don't
tight.
have a
I'm on
cohesive
my way.
story to tell. They're just making story for
Need to get to
story,
Stephanie before
and
Fisk's men do.
they're not connected, but they are
involved if it weren't for
connected,
me.
and there's no real story arc we're planning out here. Just everyone's in charge of their own solitary movie,
Nearly there.
and it just comes off weak. Like, it's kind of my big issue for like Amazing Spider-Man 2 as well. Like, they try to make the villain super sympathetic,
Find the girl with the binoculars.
and you don't always need to do that.
I saw something move.
You don't need a sympathetic villain all the time. Your villain, like, the big issue with the Spider-Man movies, and I'm not just talking about Amazing Spider-Man, I'm talking about every movie up until Homecoming.
You're gonna have a bad day.
Until Homecoming came along, there was a Spider-Man formula. And the formula went like this. There is a corporation, an entity, right, that treats its lead scientist like an asshole, right? And the fact that they treat their lead scientist like an asshole gives like bitter tension for the main villain. Where are you? What the fuck? You were not there. Unless I'm blind, but you are not there.
Thank you, Spider-Man. That was a little more
Like I was
exciting
saying.
than my average night of birding.
You got your
Hey,
main
thank
villain
you. Your eagle
being
eye stopped an incarcerated
a
crime boss
subject
from
to the
harvesting half
company
the city's personal
and
data.
being
Not
treated
too
like
shabby,
shit,
huh?
or
Plus,
being
I
fired,
found a
or
nest of
getting their
red-breasted
funding
nuthatches when
pulled,
you triple
or
kicked that guy in the
even
Real beauties, too. You want to check them out?
falling
Thanks,
into
but, I think I'll focus on jailbirds.
a machine that creates the villain, right? In Spider-Man 1, you got Norman Osborn being treated like shit by Oscorp, his company that he created, and he gets so filled with piss and vinegar that he goes on with the experiment that he was trying to do in the first place without any funding and without the proper testing. And like, he does it on human trials, like, before it's ready. And then you get Green Goblin, and then Green Goblin goes fucking crazy. He's hearing voices in his head. They talk to me, they understand, you know, like Randy Orton. And then he goes on a fucking murderous rampage. And if that's bad, right? And then, well, let's go to Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi's beloved Spider-Man 2.
Here's the Alchemax plant.
You got Doc Ock doing the same damn thing. You got Doc Ock just fucking, you know, working on this fusion reactor, whatever, like Batman in the Dark Knight, but like this is before the Dark Knight.
Huh, good timing.
So he's
Tombstones men
like
are
trying to
looking for
come up with this
supplies.
fusion reactor, fusion energy, and he has these fucking robotic arms that
heavily armed.
link to his neural
This might be easier if I stay quiet.
nervous system. And they talk to him in his head and all this shit. And then I forget, was it Oscorp again? But led by Harry Osborn? And they pull his funding. So after his funding gets pulled, he goes, "Oh shit, man! You know what? We gotta go out. We gotta do the experiment. Time to science. Time to science with no regulation." And he sciences without the regulation, and bad things happen. Bad things happen real bad. And he goes and just eats a pile of dick. Like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Well, Time to swing away.
Hey, you guys aren't registered pharmacists.
No, it's her.
Lab coat thing gave you away.
I just jacked it up. But then here we go again with fucking Doc Ock over here, fucking his shit up. The fucking experiment fails, just like it did in the first movie with Norman Osborn, and he now has fucking things talking to him. You know, he hears the voices in his head. They talk to me. They understand. He becomes the Randy Orton. He becomes the fucking legend killer, the Viper. You know, and all he keeps doing is like, oh, my robotic arms are telling me to do great evil. They're telling me to kill everyone, as well as I need to rob banks in order to fuse. In order to make the money to make the fusion reactor, you know, and if it fails, you know what? End of the world, you know, because we got a little mini sun in the middle of Manhattan, and you know what? You know, science. And then we're like, wait, didn't we just see this movie like before? If you watch the Spider-Man movies back to back like this, every single Spider-Man movie has a formula, except once you get to Homecoming, and then they change that formula up, and it's really upsetting because like now you got two movies that are the same movie, but everyone kind of just like ignores it. And I'm like, no, don't ignore that. It's the same movie. We're watching the same movie twice. And then we get to the third one, and they're like, oh shit, we did make the same two movies.
What's he doing with it now?
How about we do a twist? And the twist is, instead of Flint Marko, fucking Sandman, oh man, some Bambo White Man.